What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Hack Connects. In this video, we got Connect number 12, my brother, Zach Taylor. Welcome to the platform.
What's going on? What's going on? I say no tep, my brother. Appreciate you having me on here today.
For sure, for sure. We go way back to high school days up in Mount Vernon. You're in the Midwest right now, but I'm happy we were able to, reconnect and, you're doing your thing. You got the YouTube channel going on, so we're gonna get into everything. But, again, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, all thanks to you, bro. Like, thank you for having me on here today, and I'm honored.
No, for sure. Yes. Before we jump into the questions, you want to give a quick bio about yourself?
Yeah. So of course, you know me from Mount Vernon High School in New York, but I was born in Illinois, in the Midwest originally, and moved around to pretty much all parts of the nation. Went down south to Alabama, out west to Cali, um, New York, of course, and eventually graduated high school here in Missouri. Spent some time in Indiana, just getting my feet wet in the adult life, working at UPS as a manager. Always had dreams and aspirations of being a business owner. Right. Thought of one day working for Apple, just because I really liked their products. I liked their style. I liked how they did their commercials. So I felt like that was a brand I wanted to be a part of. Um, but things happen the way they happen, right? Life happens. I had to leave college after my sophomore year, come back home to try to figure things out, get a job, see what I can do. Eventually work my way back to school. And that's when I ended up back in Indy, um, working at UPS. And after about 6 years, man, I grew so much with my mind as a businessman and uh, a people person. That's when I started to gain the idea and got inspired to do public speaking, right? Because that was something that was natural to me, something that I saw I could really affect people with, have an impact on people, and heck, I wanted to make more money.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
No, for sure. And that's dope. So, so would you say like public speaking, your educational background, business background kind of led you to start your YouTube channel?
absolutely. Like, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. It all came from, I would say, purpose. Of course, wanting to be wealthy, have some money, and then community. Um, what inspires, I would say, everyone to start their own brand or their own business, right? Um, the purpose was, okay, what am I here for? Like, I know that everybody talks about it. They're here to do something. They're here to leave some type of impact. What is that, right? Um, we thought it was gonna be basketball, right?
Right.
But even then, in high school, bro, I knew, like, yeah, I touch people differently, and it's really through my speech. But I didn't know how to harness that, right? But then I realized through various situations, okay, people love to talk to me, and apparently my advice is helpful to people. My encouragement does something to people. And then I saw, okay, what is really lacking? What do I see a disparity in? And that's really a togetherness within our community, right? Especially between our male peers. Even just on the street, sometimes somebody look at you up and down at you like they got a problem with you, but they've never seen you a day in their life.
Right.
As opposed to it being a sign of acknowledgement and just, I see you as a man, as a human being, right? And off the bat, we're gonna have respect for one another, and hold each other accountable, making sure we do what's right in our community. So um, definitely those things. The YouTube channel was to be a reference point. Um, I never wanted it to be just rich, right? And desire a wealthy lifestyle, but ultimately seek to fulfill a purposeful life. So, um, yeah, bro, the YouTube channel is all a reference point so that people can see, okay, this is how Zach speaks publicly. These are some topics that has spoken on. I definitely would love to have him come, you know, on my platform, come to this school, come to my event, and talk to, you know, an audience. All right. So yeah.
For sure. And I would say, it's definitely a reference point. You got a wide array of different videos, different topics, like you mentioned. I know you got videos based on finance, different psychological development videos, just a lot of videos to bring awareness. So, enlightenment and uplift. What made you, come up with that name for the channel?
So those are the two things that I do naturally, right? Um, Two words that have become a part of my vernacular just from my different associations at school, different men that have been um, really a huge factor in my life and being who I am today, right? So I was always enlightening people with different types of knowledge and wisdom that I had, even when I was in high school, and uplifting people, right, which is a cardinal principle um, for a lot of people, um, particularly for men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, right? And I know a lot of those men. My stepfather is a man of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, so I'm like, okay, this is something I naturally do, and I see that this is something that the community needs. Okay, that's what the brand name will be. And E Up, I I really can't even tell you where that came from. That might be divine intervention or something. But the E can also stand for energy, enthusiasm, right? To increase that, right? That's what the up is there for as well. That's why it's called E Up, as a shortened version, right? To increase your energy, increase your enthusiasm, to increase your enlightenment.
Dope. No, for sure. Yeah, definitely, can have many, many meanings. And, I want to jump in, to some of the topics that you have. So I know one of your videos that you have put out already as far as the wealth gap and kind of just the economics within like the Black community, what's your stance on that? How you think that, we could improve and, for the next generation as far as just finance in general?
So, as far as my stance on it, I would say we're definitely moving in a more positive direction. Is it good right now as it stands? No. But we have to be mindful of the numbers and statistics that are put out. There was recently, not too long ago, um, news headline, and they had it out on one of the news channels where um, our spending, the dollar being spent in the Black community, is of course at its highest, and it's very high as if we have more money,
Right.
but our wealth as a collective, um, or what we own as a collective, is slim to none. It's almost decreased, right? But again, they say numbers don't lie, but numbers can be manipulated. So we have to be mindful of what we look at when it comes to the numbers in terms of what we're doing as an economic group, right? But first, we have to be wanting to improve, right? You ask what can we do to improve? Like, we gotta want to improve first. It's very hard for us to want to do anything without first wanting to do it. We can try to want somebody to do better for themselves, right? Work harder at their job, right? But if they don't want to work harder,
Right.
if they don't want to actually work harder, it's not going to happen. So we got to want to actually improve as a people first when it comes to where we stand financially and economically, um, and want to be a collective.
No, for sure. Yeah. And change starts in within. So, I feel like as, for us, we definitely gotta, take a stance and try to just change the narrative as far as whether it's with finances and just a lot of different areas as far as to, start seeing those numbers and statistics improve for sure.
Absolutely, and we also so and that's those are not the only things we can't just want to improve, um, and be a collective, but we also have to seek out financial literacy, right? Observe other cultures within our communities and take note as to how their dollar stays in their community, right? The Black dollar stays within our community on an average of 6 hours,
Yeah.
right? I think the next community or the next ethnic group being, I want to say, probably the Caucasians, it stays within their community for like a day, right? At least a full day before it circulates and moves to, maybe the Jewish culture or whatever the case may be. Um, then we have to teach our children, families, and friends what we have learned. We can't just keep the knowledge we've gained when it comes to finance and economics and just work on it ourselves and our family, right? We have to share this information. Majority of people should have a way of making money without depending on the job,
Right.
right? Um, just like you go to a Black barber or a hairdresser, try to do the same thing as much with everything else that you give your money to. Like if you even if you're someone that likes to buy alcohol on the Friday that you get off from work, buy it at a black owned liquor store.
Right. It's definitely ways to just go about keeping the money in the community, and just having that cycle in house. But you mentioned financial freedom and financial independence. I feel like that's really important. And so from a curriculum standpoint, like when you think about back when we were in high school, or even college, like what it's almost like it's hard to, well, you have to really go out your way to figure out ways to be financial literate, as far as
Hmm.
knowing how to invest, knowing how to manage money, and be able to not live paycheck to paycheck, have different sources of income. So how you think as a community we could be able to be more enlightened and more have more knowledge behind that.
So, and the first part of this really goes also with the previous question, of just how we do better as a community. But always know who in your family is certified and licensed in particular fields. These can be very helpful for us in many ways, not just in financial, but political, right? As well as, the law, medical, agricultural, all that stuff, right? Um, but as far as the curriculum, and when it comes to financial literacy, I could have my conspiracy as to why they don't teach us a lot of those things in high school or in college for that matter.
Right.
Um, but there's always somebody that knows like what you need to know about any particular thing. So, like what I said about seeking out financial literacy, you can go to somebody that you know is in a particular financial field, whether they work at a bank or they work in like a securities exchange department. They sell insurance, anything, right? Anything that they do that has to deal with money. Those are can be some people that you go to when it comes to just getting more knowledge about money and how it works. Um, and at this point, I mean, we're in the information era. You can really Google. Matter of fact, books, bro. Think and Grow Rich.
That's a good read for sure. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We need to be reading a lot more as well, not just depending on the word of somebody, um, and as well as understanding too that information can change over time in terms of what's right for the current time that we're in. You know, so um, but yeah, I could have my biases about the curriculum in school, but as far as you know ways we can go out and find this information, again, just go out and seek like a financial professional, right? Again, use your natural resources like the internet. Google is definitely a lot more reliable than people would like to think. um, and then at the same time too, again, teach your children these things. um, I'll have to share with you one day, really by the end of this, a video I saw not too long ago, 15 things you should not do with your money. Again, but some of these things people only learn through experience. So
Not for sure. Yeah, definitely. Like you mentioned, reading is definitely fundamental. It's definitely different articles and stuff. So, it's a work in progress. I even, have a finance background, and there's still things, I haven't learned, growing up, and, every day, you can learn something new, take the opportunity. So, I agree with you for sure.
absolutely.
Definitely.
Yep.
So, let's switch topics. So, one of my favorite videos that you have so far on your channel is the psychological development of children. So, I watched that video, and then, I absorbed everything that you mentioned, your topics, and, all your points that you made.
Hmm.
And, I sat back and I thought, this is pretty interesting as far as like, we're at the age now, our peers, some people are starting to have kids. Some people are planning to have kids in the future. So, I thought that was a good timing as far as, for us, to, have that insight. So, what's your stance on, for people, for parents in the community to be able to change the narrative and kind of, have their kids in the best predicament as far as like from a mental health or, psychological standpoint?
What we're doing right now. Ask questions. No, for real. Ask questions. Whether, and this is really from the us as being the children, right? Most of us uh who are fortunate enough to still have our parents, we can ask our parents these. We're at an age now where we can ask certain questions. At least I hope we can,
Right.
right? To really get to a real conversation so that we all can grow. Um, Talk with your mother and father, your grandparents. I had an interesting, and it's not just about your specific relationship with them. I like to ask my grandma, like, so what was it like when you was growing up? You know, and that was when I first found out for the first time my grandmother was a sharecropper. Had never known that. Had never known that. Just think about this.
Right.
If no one ever says something like that, but then I learn about sharecroppers later in life, but I have never known that my grandmother was one. But then, of course, because I'm, inquisitive, I ask her. Now that gives me more insight as to how her mindset is as she was growing up, right? And how that relates to my mom and how she thinks and behaves and how that correlates to me, right? So ask questions, talk to your parents and grandparents, um, and find the root cause of any like PTSD any of us may suffer from. It's been um, studies, like it's studies talking about like you have to find the root cause of any type of contradicting thought that you may have, um, or internal issues that you have in order for you to like really let it go. Um, so all those things make a difference, as well as um, be observant and just look around and look at other people's kids and see um, maybe how they have reacted to their community or their environment.
For sure. Yeah, it's definitely good tips for sure. So, question for yourself,
Hmm.
who would you say, could be a person of interest or like a person who's been able to influence you as far as, you know, the man you are today and, the public speaker, the educator, the person who, was pretty much community outreach, who would you say?
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to give. So I want to give two people. One who everybody has heard this name before, and the other, some people may know of him, but he's from New York. But Muhammad Ali, man, like Muhammad Ali, like I can't even really put into words how much. Some people say that they feel like they can really relate to somebody of the past. Like I feel like if I was living in that era and I was somebody of, a certain stature, that was me, because the way he speaks, his temperament, his cadence, his enthusiasm, like I can relate to it. The poetic side of him, the charisma, like I can relate to all of it. And using his platform to try to get people to see just really what was going on. Um, like I like him more as a somebody that's being interviewed in a suit versus him in the ring.
Right.
And then the second person, he's a professor, doctor, out of New York. His name is his American birth name is Booker T. Coleman, but he changed his name to Dr. Kaba Kamene,
Mm,
Kamene. He got a book called Spirituality Before Religions. And he basically just focuses on African centered studies, historical studies, science, all that stuff, bro. He goes in. But the reason why I look to him is because when he delivers his messages, he's very neutral. A lot of speakers that I'm talking about, like Umar Johnson. A lot of people know who Umar Johnson is, man. He can be very, objective and directive. I mean, like one standing on things, one legged on things. But Kabo Kamene is serene, cool, calm, collected, and very neutral. And he attacks everything, um, but would never make anybody feel ostracized if they had a certain viewpoint, and would give them a place. Okay, this is where your viewpoint comes from. This is where it has its place, and it's not to say that it's lesser or greater than anyone else's, right? But understand that yours is not the only one.
Right.
And so, yeah, Kaba name, man, and Muhammad Ali for sure.
Definitely. No, definitely some powerful figures for sure. Definitely. Um, so what's your plans, for the rest of the year? I know, I saw you were on some lives on Instagram lives, talking about different topics. I know you got the Black History Month topic. Um, do you have any like new events or new content coming out, for the future?
Um, so I mean, one thing that I've added to, um, just putting out more content is every Friday, not every Friday, but a couple Fridays out of the month. I'm doing like a financial Friday, bit. For a couple minutes, I'm giving out a rule or a concept that I've learned in these past 3 years being in the financial services field. Things that are not, like I said in this video, they're not G14 classified, man. They're not top hidden secret information. Like you can go Google this stuff or learn it from any other financial professional that works at, your Edward Jones um, building. So um, teaching that stuff on Instagram every Friday, not every, like I said, every other Friday. Still working on a podcast. It's probably dropping. We're talking July, early July.
Oh,
Let's see what else. What else? Just really working with other people when it comes to the local networking events. I was at a financial literacy brunch in February, and that gave me a lot of more contacts just to have for other networking purposes as well as business contacts. I got a contact of a guy now who does helping people get capital so they can get property or get a house, whatever the case may be. Another lady who's a business consultant.
hmm,
So the business potluck basically that I was trying to do during Black History Month, of course, we had to rehash that and postpone it. So I'm still looking to do that, man, probably in the fall. I'll definitely shoot you the details on that. Um, and let's see what else. One other thing. Oh yeah, promoting other businesses on the channel, man. That's gonna be a part of the collaboration deal and networking, just promoting other people as well. Not just talking about my own stuff, but knowing that I have other associates and friends that are doing their own deal. So
right.
put them on there too.
No, for sure. You got some things in the works, and that's good. That's good networking too. Just building, your contacts, and having people to, in just various areas. So I think that's good as well.
Thank you.
So, one of the last questions I have, so when it's all said and done, people, we're looking back, reflecting, when people mention your name, Zach Taylor, what do you want people to, know you as or remember you as?
That he was authentic, like for real. And that may sound like a cliche to some people, but um, that's really what it is. I want people to say that I was authentic, um, and because I was authentic, that allowed other people to be authentic. It's like that part in that one poem that they recited on Coach Carter. Uh, you playing small, doesn't make other people feel secure around you. Like, don't play small as to who you are, but be who you are in your raw self. Because when you're in your element, you give so many people the permission to be themselves as well. And I've seen that in so many other people. So, and that's what I want to be, man, a beacon of light, beacon of hope. Um, I've told people they're gonna make documentaries about me, man. So
Not for sure.
yeah.
Definitely. So Zach, I appreciate you, coming on again. And where could the viewers find you? What's your, socials, and where can they get in contact with you?
Absolutely, absolutely, man. If anybody wants to do any business, network and partner it up, definitely email me at enlightenup@gmail.com. Of course, there's Instagram underscore Zach ZACH point O. That's definitely where I'll be giving out my financial Friday tips, rules, and concepts. And Zach Taylor, that's as basic as it gets on Facebook. So if you can find me on there, smooth. But y'all got the channel, of course, up, the email, and find me on Instagram. Let's connect.
Sure. Yes, sir. And I'll leave all that in the description below. So, yeah, Zach, I really appreciate you. I'm looking forward to, what you got in store. I know, we talk a lot, I know we got a lot of stuff going on for the future. So, I'm gonna definitely, tune in and, definitely I gotta make a trip out there to the Midwest for sure.
For sure, for sure. Hey, I got to do my due diligence too, man, to make my way back up there to the city, man.
Yep, for
For sure,
sure.
for sure. Hey, hey, again though, I really want to say thank you again for having me on here, man. It was awesome. I've seen some of your videos and look like y'all had fun. I could definitely say I had fun on here today.
No, for sure. Yeah, it was dope. And, yeah, again, yeah, appreciate you again, bro. Yep, we'll talk soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, I say.
I shave my brother. Hotel.